the use of ASP.NET. Okay, these things we'll discuss, the very basics, the introduction of ASP.NET. So from tomorrow onwards, we'll start learning ASP.NET. Is that fine? Okay, so let me start a simple example. So already getting started Winforms, I have it here. So I will create a new form. What I'm doing is I'm adding a new Windows form here, that is controls. Okay, Winform controls. So here I'm just extending the view of Winforms, and then just open your toolbox. We have common controls. Okay, from this common controls we have, there is this date picker, right? So date picker is a control. Okay, so before that what we have to do is we have to drag a text box here. We have to give a name, so for better understanding for users. Okay, what I am giving this label name is, okay, just let me take date of birth. Okay, so this is my text control, this is my date control. So okay, this is directly taking. Okay, so this is my date control. What it will do, you can select a date for this. Okay, so whatever date you selected, it will be, you can take that from bracket, and so you can give some default format for this text control, this calendar control, or if you want you can change the format, custom format. Okay, custom format means maybe dd YY. This is giving dd triple M means full month and then year. So if you want some other format, you can give something like dd YYY. Okay, some kind of format like this. Okay, the default format anyway you saw, right? So this is calendar date picker, so dp dob, date of birth. So this is one control. So when you run this form, you can select the date and the particular date for this. Okay, let me run this form. What is this form? Winform controls. Okay, here new Winforms control. So this is a program file. So this is main heart of this application. It gives all, it initiates this application and it says which form has to load on the beginning of running this application. So here we are defining which form has to load. Okay, if you want to change to some other form, you can change it here. So I'll set this project as start project. Now I'm running this. So here you have the date, you can select some date here, otherwise you can manually change the date. Okay, you can enter or you can change. Okay, something like this. Okay, and even something, or if you want to select from a regular calendar control, you can do something. Okay, this is how you can select. The date will be on button click of event. This is my close all but this. So if I put a button here, on button click, okay, show the date selected, and say get date. Okay, and then when I double click on it, it generates an event for me. Okay, here dpdob dot text. Okay, so whatever I have selected, that will be written here. Okay, string date equal to this one. Okay, errors dpdbug dot. There is a text that you can print to output. Okay, so you can see 5th January 2016. Whatever text inside this, whatever I have selected, that will be written to your C sharp. Just like your text box or any other control, you can select the date here. Okay, any doubts on this? So I hope you guys are clear. Okay, so the other thing is we have chart control, which is used to display some bar charts, pie charts, something like that. So this one supports mainly bar charts. So that thing we will see here. So this is my chart control. Okay, something like this. On page load of this, what I will do is I will create two arrays. One is with the names, one is with the points, the values, actual values. So means what I can do is the students class wise, branch wise students count. Okay, so what are the branches I am having? I will take it into string array. Okay, branches equal to new brand new string of, you can take computers, electronics, civil, mechanical. Okay, these are my branches. Each branch wise students. Okay, how much I have? Student count equal to new int of, so some random numbers I am giving just for this is test purpose. You can dynamically you can pull the data from your database and you can something, you can generate some arrays like this and you can point to your series. Okay, so I will explain you this control in detail. Okay, so computer students, I will take some 120, electronics, I will take some 78, civil, I will take 135, mechanical, I will take 96. Okay, these are my two arrays. What I am going to do is, so I am running a loop, int I equal 0, I less than 4, I plus plus. So I have chart control for that, where series equal to chart one dot series. Okay, or else we can directly add it here, chart one dot series dot add string name. So the bar chart, if you see in my design, it is showing few bars, right? The vertical bars with blue color. So this is, so you can see the series. So what are different series you have in your uh, application? You can add like this, you can define even color for that, or else it will take automatically some color. So what I am doing is branches start, no sorry, branches of I am adding here, and then point you have to add. Okay, series dot. Okay, so what I'm doing is I have to take this series. Okay, series equal to this one, and for this series, so a new series created. So here we can add points dot add. Okay, so I can add directly my point, that is student count of I. Okay, this is how I can create my chart. This is very simple. So on form load, what I'm doing, I created a branch. This is comes under series, and I'm adding the count of students to the points. So when I run this application, so see, automatically it takes all the colors, okay, different colors and their respective values, and it generates a chart. Okay, this is what the charts control, and this is very much useful when you are running some kind of reports. Okay, got it or any doubts? So when I ask you to run some reports like branch wise students, class wise students, you can give some count. So users, sometimes end users are very much interested to see some graphical reports that will give a good understanding. Okay, instead of numbers, if you give some beautiful reports like this, people will like the website or whatever software you design. So like this you can compare. So if you see stock markets or some other company sales over a period of time, so every month how it is running, so every month the sales how it is running, how the product popularity in different areas, how it is, or different kinds, any kind of report if you want to show in graphical way, you can use this chart control. Okay, this supports something like this vertical bars, or even if you want, you can do some horizontal bars, something like that. Okay, and even line diagrams like that. So you have to change the chart type, then it will generate that for you. Okay, so any doubts on this, or you guys are clear? So you guys are clear, right? Okay, so these two with these two controls we have done with WinForms, means according to our course schedule we have done with WinForms. There is much more there to learn. As students you have to learn much more on WinForms. Okay, if you, so the current trend is working on web applications, not on this Windows applications. Okay, these are useful when you are working with some product company and they are all these Windows applications. This kind of applications still are used in some product development companies like Philips, okay, GE, some electronic companies. So when you connect your some device to your laptop or your desktop, it will install some software and you can control your uh, that device from that application. So a simple example I can tell you is, whenever you connect your data card or dongle to your laptop, it will open some application, right? So I will show you that application. Okay, so this is my Airtel 4G application. Okay, when I connect my device to laptop, so this will automatically opens. Okay, so when I click on connect, it will connect to the network and it will start giving some communication. So it will connect my laptop to internet. So this kind of applications, okay, whatever may be the technology, we call all these applications as desktop applications. WinForms also comes under desktop applications. Okay, so if this Airtel 4G dongle or whichever data card or dongles. So you want to some software, some sort of software, you want to develop something like this, so you go with WinForms, or one more alternate is there, that is not part of course, that is WPF. Okay, so these WinForms are the desktop applications. They are uh, they are only restricted to implement some applications like this device to interact with your device. Okay, to provide an interface to your system connected device. Okay, even you can see some supermarkets, the billing system that is developed in WinForms, because that is a local network, and the data entry means the people whoever enters the data there, they use means web page means it has to load each time all the controls everything, but these WinForms, these are installed on your machine, and they are very much they run very fastly. They need not to load everything from somewhere, and everything that's there in your machine, and it loads immediately and it works very fastly. So in that kind of scenarios, you will use WinForms. Okay, so how to install this? So you develop some WinForms application. Okay, after that, how you will deploy means how you will give this WinForms application to your client or your end user. So for that, what you have to do is you just build your application. Okay, so the it got built. Now right click on this, go to open folder in File Explorer. Okay, here you got a bin folder. Okay, you have release version as well as debug version. So debug version is always your whenever you are in development mode, this is debug, these files are generated. So basically when you are giving your application to end user, what you have to do is, so you have to build this application in release mode. Okay, so you just click on select this project. You can see on top of Visual Studio, this is in debug mode, so you have to select release mode. Okay, now it is release mode. Right click on it, build the software. Now build the application now. Okay, build got succeeded. Now come back to your project on your machine where it is located. Come back to your bin folder of your project. Now go to release. You can see the files generated here. Okay, all other files are not required. The very first file which is having the extension .exe. Okay, you can just double click on it. It gives, see, it opened my form. Okay, so all your C# files and other files, everything got converted to a simple exe file. This exe file is enough. So that exe file you give it to your end user, so he can run this application right away. Okay, got it? Or any doubts? Or you can do a publish. Okay, this is asking for some place. What I will do, I will select my E drive. Okay, under that I have trainings. Here published by Winforms by getting started. This is my folder path. Next, so from a CD-ROM or from a website, how will users install the application? So these are from a website URL, so you have to give some website URL. There the application will be published. Otherwise you give a path, there it will be. Otherwise from a CD-ROM or DVD-ROM. So this will be, the application will be, the setup file will be generated in that fashion. So you are, anyway, this is a WinForms application. You will give some CD-ROM or pen drive. Okay, So next, so this application will not check for updates, or else if it has to check for the updates, so the URL you have to give. So you may deploy your application somewhere on the web. So the latest software, you can see the Java updates every time comes to your machines. How they are giving is some URL they will give here, something like this they will configure, so that every time it checks the updates. Okay, it checks the updates available for that correct that software installed on your machine. So there is if there is no need for updates, you can use this. Otherwise, if that has to check for updates, you give your URL here, so that it will check every time whenever you load the application or you run, you open your machine. That time it will check this URL, and any updates are there, it will prompt you to update the version of your software. So as of now, not required. So next, okay, this is going to be install, the setup file will be generated here. Okay, finish. Okay, so now we will go publishing succeeded. So now you can see a setup file came for me. This entire folder you have to give to your client. Okay, a version automatically generated for this. Okay, next time whenever you publish, the version number will be automatically updated. Okay, this entire setup you have to give to your client, so that when they run on this setup.exe, that time this application will be installed on their machine, and they will be able to run this application from their machines. Okay, so this setup will create some dependency files or everything, and even it creates a desktop icon. Okay, so that it will be easy for users to install and run whatever software you have developed. Okay, so one thing you have to give is the executable file you can give and you can check. Otherwise, you can give this setup file. Okay, this will be installed on the client machines, and they will be able to run the application. So any doubts, or you guys are clear? Okay, so you have to practice a lot on WinForms to get other things also. So this is just as a part of course we have completed on WinForms, but there is lot more to learn. Okay, you guys should practice this very. So you have to practice very hard on this WinForms. Okay, so if you choose to work with desktop applications. Okay, normally developers nowadays they are very much interested in web application development. So this is becoming very rare practice to work on WinForms. Okay, so with this we are done with WinForms. Okay, guys, now it's time to move on to web applications. So I am again telling you guys. So please run the script file whichever I showed you yesterday on your machines. Okay, so that is under school management. This is a script file. This script file please run on your machines, on your SQL server, so that it will generate those tables and respective stored procedures. Okay, again the same application whatever we have developed on WinForms, the same we have to develop on ASP.NET also. Okay, so all the AWS.NET code and this SQL Server code, everything should be ready on your machines. Okay, so today I'm going to give a brief introduction on ASP.NET. Okay, guys, this is ASP.NET. Okay, so you guys can see ASP.NET that is kept inside few characters. Those are special characters. You can see a less than percentage symbol and then a curly open brace. After that, ASP.NET is there. After that, closing curly brace and then percentage greater than. Okay, so these curly braces, you know, that defines a block of code. Okay, so that is fine. So inside those curly brackets, you can write some ASP.NET code. What about these two? Less than percentage and percentage greater than. Okay, these two define that ASP.NET server side script. Okay, whatever you write on a web page, okay, respective to ASP.NET, you have to write your code inside these two symbols. Okay, combination of these two symbols means that is opening of a C# code you are writing on a web page. Okay, and the second part percentage and greater than that defines ending of your ASP.NET server side code on a web page. Okay, that's it. So this is beginning of ASP.NET. So why ASP.NET? ASP.NET, so this is mainly used to develop, it is a development platform which provides a programming model, a comprehensive software infrastructure, and various services required to build up robust web applications for PC as well as mobile devices. So these mobile devices, this term recently arrived. So before, this is only to build some robust web applications in a rapid manner. Okay, when you consider about Java, PHP or any other technology, they don't have this much flexibility to run, to develop a web application in a fast phase like ASP.NET. What is the advantage of ASP.NET is the web forms model. Okay, so basically all the HTML forms. Okay, so I ask you guys one question. So you guys know HTML, JavaScript and CSS, or you just heard of it? Your voice is very low. Okay, so anybody doesn't know this one, HTML, CSS and JavaScript? Okay, good. Two persons know. So others, what about others? This is very important that you have to know about HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Okay, I hope you guys know HTML and CSS. If not, please tell me. So I'll give a brief introduction about this one. Okay. So I hope you guys know about HTML and CSS. So why this ASP.NET is that much popular? So before that, I will tell you one thing. So just like Winforms, this ASP.NET also, it will have some web forms. Okay, the web forms are supported by a C# backend code. Okay, okay, so just like WinForms, you have ASP.NET Web Forms, and they are supported by C# from backend. And ASP.NET is event-driven platform. So both WinForms as well as ASP.NET both are event-driven. Means you can drag and drop some controls onto your forms or your pages. Okay, in Visual Studio, once you double click on those controls, it will generate some event related code and you can handle whatever you want to handle, or whatever code you want to execute, you can write that code inside that event. Okay, that's ASP.NET. Okay, first thing, these are nothing there. So this model, how the web forms model, how they arrived is, so that time many people, they are very much used to desktop applications. Okay, when they come to web applications, so HTML, CSS and JavaScript, so that is entirely a new world. So people, they have to learn two types of technologies. One is WinForms or desktop applications. The coding for desktop applications, in C Sharp, Java or any other technology, it is same. You have to draw your controls, means manually you have to draw. Manually means, so to display a button control, you have to write a lengthy code in Java or C, C++. But whereas your .NET platform, it made very easy. You just can drag and drop. Okay. So to bring the web interface also, the development in web applications also, in the same way as Windows Forms, Microsoft made the developers' job very easy by creating server-side controls. Okay, so before discussing about these server-side controls, the HTML is hypertext markup language. Hypertext markup language means, so all you know XML, right? So all markup languages maximum, okay, all markup languages, they derived from XML. So what is XML means? Anything you kept inside a, what is that, a less than symbol and greater than symbol, inside that if you keep a text, okay, something like name, okay, and after that you put something, okay, let me show something. I will write here itself, that will be easy. So this is something, okay, okay, this is called a markup. Markup means you have a opening element, a closing element, okay. So till last some 3 4 years, this XML is very famous, so you can maintain your data in this markup. Okay, so you have opening element, you have closing element, whatever inside it, it is considered as data. So all markup languages in the industry, they are derived from XML. So XML will have some notation like this, okay, and name like this. The first one we call it as the root element, and the inside things we call it as child elements, okay, or nodes. Okay, so this is the base XML. All the markup languages, they derived from here. So HTML will have some form like this, okay, HTML head, close head, and then body, body, and then HTML. So this is what we call it as HTML. So inside this there are many elements. So some are input controls, some are buttons, and you have some elements to display the text, some elements to format your text, okay, and some elements you can execute some actions, some elements you can select something like the draw combo box in your WinForm. Okay, these type of controls are there in HTML, and this is universally accepted format, and all your browsers, they execute the HTML code only. Means whatever you execute on your, so whatever website you are seeing on your browser, so I can give you this one, okay, so some Facebook, so everybody is familiar with this. So what it will do is, okay, let me log out of this. Okay, so if you see, this is home page. You can see when you right click on a web page, and if you click on view page source, okay, it will give you this kind of some lengthy text. So if you see the very first line, this is HTML. So your server will send this data, this entire text to your browser. Your browser knows how to execute this kind of text, and it provides some interface, some beautiful interface like this. Okay, so to render and show on a browser any web application, so the browser needs some HTML, CSS, and JavaScript code. Your browser only knows these three things, and it is able to execute and display some beautiful interface to end user. If you write any code, any other than any other code, it can't execute. Okay, your any browser. It may be Chrome, it may be IE, Opera, Navigator. Okay, any browser you take, it can execute this HTML, CSS, and JavaScript code only. Okay, if you see HTML, this is something like this. Okay, and CSS means you can define what color. So this is text, right? So this text, so this is white color, somewhere this is black, and this is heavy text. Heavy means the size of the text is heavy. Okay, the same way, if you see the login. Okay, this is black, and this is some small text here, white, and some small text, and some images are there here. If you see, this is lengthy and blue color. So all this kind of coloring or styling, whatever, you can define using your CSS. That is called CSS. So CSS means cascading style sheet. Okay, the extension of the file will be .css. Okay, all the HTML files, they will have the extension like .html. Okay, but all the server side files, they will have whatever extension they support, their own server. The application server supports whatever format of the extension of the file your application server supports. That will be the thing. But finally they have to rendering means that the code whatever you have written in your own language, that has to be converted to the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Then only it can be executed. Okay, so HTML is one thing. Your browser understands how to display the layout. It defines your layout. Okay, what type of control should be there on your page, and what text and everything. So the color, styling, and everything will be defined by your CSS file. And login. I clicked login, and now it redirected me to here, and you can see a beautiful error message here. The email address or phone number that you have entered doesn't match any account. Sign up for an account. So this beautiful pop-up that is there, that is again a HTML code that is styled with your CSS class or something. But this pop-up is not there in the beginning of. So when I click on somewhere else, that pop-up is not there. When I come to this, focus on this text box, the pop-up is visible. So the hiding and visible, this is possible by your JavaScript code. Okay, this enables client-side actions. Okay, so these three are very important, and you should know this as we are developing some web applications. Okay, there are many client libraries. Okay, like jQuery, AngularJS, Kendo UI, Knockout.js, something are there. But everything they derived from JavaScript, or they developed on top of JavaScript. Okay, JavaScript, that is nothing but that is also a programming language, but that is client-side script. Okay, so with the combination of these three, a browser executes or renders or shows your form, and it gives you the ability to execute some actions on the form. Okay, that's what HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Okay, these three only can be understandable by any browser. Okay, whatever language you write your application, that application has to finally send the data to your browser, something like this with JavaScript or the image URLs and CSS, everything. Then only your browser will be able to display some content like this. Okay, so this is basics of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Come back to our ASP.NET. So normally all, as I told, everything that has to return HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So what they were doing in the beginning, right? So this Java, PHP, whatever, they used to do some server side scripting. Okay, server side scripting, this slide I told you that less than, percentage, percentage and greater than. So like this, for your PHP, in place of percentage it is question mark. Okay, so question mark means in any web browser, okay, not browser, your server will treat that as a PHP application. If it is percentage, it is some ASP.NET application or ASP application. Okay, so all server side scripting languages, they made their own tag structure. Okay, they define for ASP.NET this is less than and percentage. Whatever you write in this, in between this, your web server or application server has to process that code and return some HTML data in place of those tags. Okay, so the mixing of HTML and server side code altogether we call it as some server side scripting languages. Okay, so I am talking about always the application server or web server. So here for ASP.NET, our application server or web server is IIS. Okay, IIS means Internet Information Server or Service. Okay, so what it will do, so when you develop your application, you have to publish that code to your IIS server, and it will give you a proper URL like google.com, okay, or msn.com, whatever. So that URL it will give you, okay, that on that URL you are publishing your ASP.NET application. So this server will do all the conversions, or it renders the code, okay, the HTML, CSS and JavaScript combination code out of your application, and it presents the UI to the client. Okay, that is IIS server, that is very very important. Okay, and now I am coming to web forms model. Okay, we saw Winforms and now web forms. The difference is nothing. One runs on your machine and another runs on your machine's browser. Whatever browser you install on that browser, just by entering some URL, okay, the web form application runs. Whereas WinForm application you have to install, that runs as a separate application, but this one runs inside a browser application. Okay, so this is the main difference. And the dragging and dropping the control names, okay, the controls whatever we used in WinForms, the same controls are here, okay, with but different, sometimes some different name or same name, or the name is same but with some prefix or suffix added, okay, something like that, but controls are there, the same names. Okay, that is web forms model. Okay, and then the best thing in ASP.NET is all other HTML web applications, okay, all other web applications before ASP.NET, they are stateless. Stateless means the word says, so if you enter some data into your, so you are writing some data or you are entering some data into a form. Okay, I can tell you, what I can tell you is you are registering on a on Google. Okay, you are creating a new account on Google or Amazon, okay, wherever. So that will check for your ID is available or not. So nowadays no registration account, when you enter the name it is not refreshing the entire page. That is Ajax, that is a different thing. But if you see some 5-6 years back, so whenever you enter something, the entire page refreshes. Okay, the entire page reloads. That time whatever data you entered, the data will be lost. Okay, if you mistakenly refresh a page, or if you mistakenly clicked some button, or so, or else I can say simply, whenever still on some applications, whenever you refresh the page, your password field whatever you entered, those values will get clear and you have to re-enter your password. Okay, so like that all HTML controls, they are stateless, means they can't hold the values across the page reloads or post back, means whenever the page refreshes, those values you entered on your controls, that will be lost. But in ASP.NET, it maintains the state of the control and it preserves the values whatever you enter. That is what ASP.NET state. Okay, these things we will discuss even clearly when we reach the topic. Okay, so this is a stateful application. That's another point where it became very popular. Okay, and now ASP.NET component model. So this component model, so as I told, so your browser can understand only HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So this component model, so all these are server controls for to make the developer life easy, and whoever working on WinForms, if they want to come to web applications environment, they should not feel something different and they came into some new environment, they have to work very hard to learn the new technology. So to overcome all those complexity, Microsoft invented this ASP.NET, and it provided the same means, the same way how you worked with WinForms, the same way you can work with these web applications. So that's where means for that they made so many arrangements. The actually your browser understands only HTML controls, but in ASP.NET they have their server controls. Server controls means they are they are only specific to your ASP.NET and they are nowhere used. Okay, so these controls cannot be processed by your browser. So if you directly write that content to your browser, it cannot execute, it simply displays whatever you write. But this component model, what it do is the server control whatever you are dragging and dropping. So I will give you a simple example. So text box in WinForms, that is clear, but whereas in ASP.NET the text box code is just like HTML only, but the tag will be less than ASP colon text box and ends with normal greater than symbol. Okay, but this is not understandable by your browser. What your IIS server does is, so this IIS server, that whatever ASP.NET code, it converts into browser understandable version. So this ASP text box tag will be converted into less than input. So input is a control, type is text. Okay, with it converts that source, okay, ASP.NET code to HTML equivalent element and it sends to browser so that browser executes. Okay, that's where the component model came. Okay, so tomorrow we will discuss about the other things. Okay, so any doubts on this ASP.NET? You understand what is ASP.NET and other things, or any doubts? So I hope you guys are clear. Got it? What are web applications and so these web application mainly you deploy on one place and users can access the applications over internet. Okay, just by giving the URL where you deployed the web application, users can give that URL and they can execute the application and they can run and they can check whatever they want. Unlike your WinForms, so WinForms if they want to run, they have to install on their machines. So if 1,000 clients they want to 1,000 users they want to use your application, means you have to install 1,000 instances of your application on each one machine. Unlike that web application, it will be published or deployed. The terminology is different. Published or deployed on a single server. From there, all the users just can give the URL onto their browsers. The application loads to their browser and they can run from there. Okay, that is the main difference. Okay, any other doubts? Okay, I hope you guys are clear. So from tomorrow we'll start programming in ASP.NET. Okay, before that, guys, please execute that script, run prepare the ADB.NET code to communicate with those stored procedures. Okay, then that will be easy for you guys to work with ASP.NET application, sample application. Okay, thank you guys. Have a nice day. See you tomorrow.